Namaste yogis, and welcome to Yoga for the Chakras. Today we're going to do a quick series to help nourish and balance our root chakra, our Muladhara chakra. It's the chakra that sits at the very base of our spine, right over the coccygeal plexus. We will begin today in a very simple child's pose. So coming on to hands and knees, keeping knees together, ankles together. Start to sit back. Bring your forehead to the mat. Wrap your arms back behind you, palms face up. And just start to find yourself here on the mat. Notice how you're feeling in this small, contracted ball. Our root chakra is the foundation upon which all the other chakras reside. So it's important in this chakra that we feel safe, that we feel secure. And if you think about it, whenever we start to feel off, if we feel ill, we tend to roll into a ball, whether we're lying in a fetal position, we're snuggled up in bed, we tend to take this secure, protected position. So as we're here, just beginning to maybe even visualize ourselves as a seed. A seed contains within it all the things that it needs in order to grow and to thrive. So imagine yourself a seed planted deep within the earth. On an inhale, pull energy from the earth around you. And with the exhale, return that energy back. So that your body is giving as much as it gets. Always striving for balance. Just feeling that expanse, that drawing in on the inhale, and that release, that surrender on the exhale. Slowly start to drift the hands out in front. Temple the fingers onto the mat. Lift the gaze, look forward. Pull the shoulder blades onto the back body. Feel the fingertips connect, the shins root down, the tops of the feet to ground in. And use your next inhale. Pull yourself forward into table. Hands connect to the mat. Knees step hips width apart. We'll press the feet into the mat, so the whole length of the shin, the knees to the toes, rooting down on purpose. The fingertips connecting to the earth. Start to feel yourself growing roots here. Very simple cat-cow. So on an inhale, belly drops, tail lifts, chin lifts. It's like the back of the head and our tailbone are trying to meet behind our body. And then on an exhale, we press into hands, into shins, lift the back side of the heart, curl chin to tailbone in front of the body. We'll start to do that in a rhythm that makes sense for our body. So inhale, open and extend the front side body. Peel the shoulders back, engage the glutes. And on the exhale, peel and tuck everything in, feeling as though you're pressing the earth away, expanding in each direction. When you're ready, inhale, make your way back into a neutral table, shoulders broaden the chest, so shoulders move down, chest expands. And on an exhale, we'll just bring left shoulder and left hip a little bit closer together, squeezing and compressing. Use an inhale to come back to center, and on the exhale, just compress right side body, squeeze. Inhale back to neutral, not allowing our belly to dip down or our heart to press back, but a nice neutral spine. And in neutrality, our chakra system is nice and aligned, right up the spinal column. Taking that one more time, exhale, compress left side body, squeeze shoulder to hip, maybe even look back at the left foot this time. Inhale back, and ride and exhale to the right. Squeeze right side body, maybe shift gaze towards right side foot. Am I still connected? Have I lost some of my foundation? Inhale back to center. And then we'll begin to change shape. So belly stays nice and active. We'll cross at the ankles, begin to sink the hips back, coming into our Sukhasana easy seat. If you need, just settle 2 bricks underneath knees. But begin to sit tall. And as we sit tall, we check in with our tailbone. Is it pressing back behind us so that the pelvic bowl spills forward? Or is it tucking underneath us so that the pelvic bowl spills back? We want to try and settle everything right on top. So I like to take my hands and spin the meat out from underneath me so that I can feel tailbone and hips connect on purpose. And then with hands on the knees, just roll the shoulders up, back, and down, feeling the broadening across the chest. And closing down the eyes if it's okay with you, if you feel as though you're in a safe space. Just begin to feel your spine lengthening once more, feeling vertebra stack on top of vertebra, just as strong, just as open as we were in our table. And we'll begin to move some energy up and down. So we'll take a very simple breath with movement. Left fingertips will come in front of the legs. Right fingers will come to the outside of right thigh. We'll press down into the earth, lift up, spin the heart over the right knee. And on an inhale, we'll lift the chin up nice and high. Fill up full breath. On the exhale, we'll dive forward, chin to chest, forehead towards the knee, curling all the way up. Big inhale, fill up, gaze lifts, chin lifts. And as we exhale, chin moves towards the knee, scoops into the chest, rolls all the way up. One more time, inhale, lift the gaze, reach through the chin. Exhale, compress the body, chin towards the knee, curl it into the chest, and then roll to seated. Bring the gaze back to neutral. Shift your fingers on either side of your hips. Change the cross of your shins. And then situate your hips once more. You might notice one hip is higher than the other. That's okay. Situate a block underneath it if you need. We'll twist to the other side. So right fingertips forward, left hand to the outside. Press down into the earth and lift up. As we feel firm in our foundation, it gives us room to grow and expand. Twisting heart over the knee. We'll take in a big inhale, lift the gaze. And exhale right back into those rolls. So chin towards the knee and then pull chin into chest. Inhale. The exhale happens and the chin dials forward. Rolls into the chest. Inhale lifts us all the way back up. One last time. Exhaling, chin towards the knee. Inhaling to center. Feeling that gentle movement of energy, we'll come back to center and firm our hands onto our knees just for a moment and start to feel how that stirs things up a little bit. Maybe we're feeling a little stuck right now, so it's nice to churn and move some energy gently with the breath, the vehicle of our prana. We'll allow ourselves to rock back onto our hips once more, this time taking soles of the feet together in our Baddha Konasana, shifting the tailbone onto the mat once more, rooting down. We'll bring ourselves into Bhu Mudra. So index finger and middle finger will extend, ring finger and pinky will connect to the thumb, and we'll bring that down on either side of us, trying to stack Shoulders over our hips. And if it's too much with our butterfly legs, just cross the ankles once more. Make it simple. With our fingers connected, sitting bones connected, shoulders rolling back. Think mountain spine. So Tadasana spine, whole body. And if you think about the shape we're in the shape of a mountain. Maybe settle the eyes closed for a moment and connect with Muladhara Chakra. The element for the root chakra is earth. Feeling yourself as stable as a mountain, as strong, as grounded as a mountain. Pressing the fingertips down and lifting up through the crown of the head, just taking those breaths. I am safe. I am secure. I'm at home in my own body. 2 more breaths here. I am safe. I am secure. I have everything I need. Releasing your mudra, sliding your hands under your knees, bringing them back to center. We'll begin to shift towards table once more. So swinging knees behind, hands underneath the shoulders. Knees begin to align under the hips. And maybe we're here and this is where we're at today. Especially if you're a beginner, it might be nice to stay in table for the next 3 or so breaths. If you're more familiar or have been to the mat already today, maybe walk hands forward a half step. Press into the hands, wrap the shoulders around, tucking the toes, lifting the knees, pressing chest back, ears between the biceps, shoulders broad and down the back. Begin to elevate the hips nice and high, straighten the knees, and then lastly, heels towards the mat. And whether they touch or not is not really the goal. The goal here is to find stability. We're in that inverted V shape, and you can almost think of us as a mountain here. Pressing into the hands, belly is active, lines of energy pulling up from the hands, radiating up from the feet. You can almost think of it here as Muladhara Chakra being the highest it can be. And still feeling that firming into the mat. As you're ready, bend the knees generously. Just begin to walk yourselves towards the front of your mat. Toes settle behind the wrists. Reach for opposite elbows here. Make fists and snuggle them into the elbows. And then sway a little side to side. And as you do, be mindful of the connection of feet. All 4 corners still connecting strongly. With your next inhale, disconnect your hands from your elbow creases. Fingertips step about a foot forward in front of your feet. And we'll inhale, halfway lift, bringing the chest parallel to the floor. Shoulder blades down the back. Maybe fingertips are on the shins for a little better support. And we'll exhale, fold. As we're folded, take a moment to think about a flag without any wind. Feel how that would feel just draped over the body. Next inhale, begin to ground through the feet, lift up, knees bent, arms dangle. Shoulders stacking over the hips, arms relax by your side, and head on top of the shoulders. Naturally, where it belongs. Fingertips reach down for the earth. Shoulders move back, so collarbones are broad. And then check in with the feet. Maybe hips distance is exactly where we need to be today, or you walk it into a little more traditional of a Tadasana pose with big toes touching, heels slightly apart. Rooting down to rise up strongly. Press tailbone down. So it's not a tuck. We're not tilted forward. And it's definitely not a back bend. It's just rooted towards the heels. The belly is drawn in. Fingertips reach. Palms are forward. And we just take a moment to soften the gaze. Rock forward and back as you find all four corners of the feet. Spread the toes nice and wide to get strong here. And then use an inhale, float the arms up overhead, reach for the sky. As you do, make sure that the shoulders stay down the back. They're not reaching with you. Gaze is forward. Find something that's not moving. Allow your drishti to hold there, and then inhale. Pick the right knee up in front of the right hip. Stand here in your Ekapada Tadasana, your mountain pose on one leg. Feel just as strong here as you did when you were standing with 2 feet on the ground. And then stepping that right foot back 3.5, maybe 4 feet if you have the distance, we'll settle into Warrior One. Now in Warrior One, we're trying to press back through the back foot. Toes are pointed off to the front corner of your mat. Left knee aligns over left ankle. Belly draws in, tailbone points down. So again, we're not spilling the guts forward. We're pulling everything in nice and strong. We're trying to bring left hip back so right hip has time and space to move forward. Think about hip bones aligning with the front edge of your mat. Belly stays in, fingertips reach up overhead, and we breathe. And this is probably one of the most aptly named poses in all of yoga because it really is like a battle moving in the body. The arms are extending and reaching. The breath is expanding the chest and the belly. The feet are grinding down. Now if you're here and that back knee is cranky, lift onto the ball of the back foot. Otherwise, heel spins down. Breathe. On your next inhale, 5 pointed stars. So left toes are going to point towards the right edge of your mat. Arms are going to come out wide. On an exhale, we'll bend at the hip flexors, melting in, coming down. Fingertips will reach for the underside of the feet. Maybe they come to hips. And we're just opening through the legs here. And again, you can think of that mountain shape. So the feet are now the base. The hips are the apex. The hands are connecting. And we're just spilling ourselves over. Taking in a big breath here, halfway lift. And then begin to turn both sets of toes towards the back edge of your mat. Step your left foot up to meet your right. Big toes touch, heels slightly apart. Hands will come onto our hips. Shift your weight a little more into the front sides of your feet so that you're shifting hips over ankles rather than having hips way back behind them. Inhale, halfway lift. And then inhale, rise the rest of the way. Staying here, we'll inhale. Arms will come up overhead, extended mountain once more. And we'll bring the left knee in front of the hip. And with the left knee in front of the hip, we'll simply balance. Bring your drishti on to something that isn't moving. And for the sake of the pose, I'm actually going to shift and change so that you can see what's going on in the hips. We'll start to move towards that Warrior One. Shifting left leg back this time. Left toes point to the front left corner of the mat. Check in with the distance of your feet. Look down at your feet. Are heels in alignment with one another? If they are and we're feeling a little wobbly, step the right foot out. Give yourself a wider foundation, right? We're working on grounding into the body, feeling stable in our own body. So we want to make that as easy as we can. So starting to firm here into the foundation of this pose. Bringing the right knee over the right ankle. Left hip is trying to track forward because again, we want the hips square to the front edge of the mat. We're not in warrior two, where we're open to the side of our mat. We're in warrior one. So hips are balanced, tailbone roots down. Feet feel like they're trying to come together under the body. And arms reach up overhead. Big inhale, fill the body. Reach through the fingertips. You're expanding from the waist up as you root from the waist down. Breathe. Feel that burn. Remember that you can always come onto the ball of the back foot. Keeps the hips square, changes the tension in the knee. Take a breath. Inhale and revolve onto the ball of the back foot. Pick the left knee up. You're in one-legged mountain. Settle the left foot down. Interlace the hands behind the back. Fill the chest up. And then exhale, fold forward, opening the shoulders. Maybe the hands are still down at the low back or they're starting to reach over. Remembering to shift the weight a little more into the front sides of the feet, just so that the hips don't fall so far back. We're staying where we want to be. Relaxing the hands back down to the mat. Inhale and halfway lift. Exhale and fold. Inhale, swim the arms out wide, reach all the way up towards the sky. And exhale, hands down to heart center. We're gonna root down into our tree pose. So I'll turn to face you now. We'll start with the right leg. So we'll come onto the toes of the left and then use the glutes, the external rotators, to bring that knee out to the side. And this is tree pose. You can stay here, vrikshasana. Toes connect to the earth. Maybe heel comes in to the right leg, maybe not. More seasoned practitioners, you may begin to lift that left leg up, maybe using your left hand to settle it onto the thigh. Hands come into heart center, and you're pressing left foot and right leg into one another as firmly as you're pressing left and right hand. And it's that connection, that pressing. We're completing a circuit, right and left side of the body, mind and body connected. The right foot is grounding down. And just like our Muladhara chakra is the foundation for all of our other chakras to rest, giving us the ability not only to pull energy up, but to also draw energy down. So thinking about a tree, we inhale, float our limbs up overhead and extend our branches. And from our branches, we can think of ourselves like a tree. The leaves are pulling energy down from the sun, just as our roots are pulling nutrients up for the leaves. It's this balance of up and down energy. Breathe here. And then slide hands back down to heart center. Bring the left knee forward and step it down with the right. Same idea, other side. Hands come on to the hip. Right toes connect to the mat, knees forward at first, and then we exhale, rotate it out. Maybe keeping toes connected or sliding that leg up onto the thigh, connecting on purpose. Hands pressed together. Focusing on something that isn't moving. Maybe looking away from the video for a moment and finding something in the room that won't move on you. Breathing as you focus on it. And then inhaling our arms up overhead, expanding our branches. Fingertips radiate energy, pulling energy down from the sun as our roots pull energy up from the core of the earth. And we've expanded from our seed into this beautiful tree. Breathe here for one more breath. Bring your hands back down into heart center. Bring the right knee in front of the body and then settle it down with the left. We'll face the front edge of our mat. If we turned, inhale, float arms up overhead. Exhale and dive forward, melt towards the earth. And connecting hands to the mat, bend your knees, maybe stepping back into table, maybe stepping all the way back, downward facing dog. Wherever you are, feeling that space that we've created in the body, moving a little, bending one knee and then the other. We'll all eventually bend both knees, bringing shins together, ankles together, and we'll sit back where we began, but this time keeping arms extended out in our child's pose. And we can think of it as we've grown, we've created space. And as you're here, you can imagine yourself that seedling that's just begun to sprout. Those two little leaves have cracked through the top of the soil and they're reaching for the sunshine. And it does that by having the seed planted firmly in the soil, by feeling at ease in the earth. And taking a few moments to remind yourself here, I am safe, I am secure, I am grounded like a seed nestled in to the damp earth. And then when you feel ready, just begin to slide the hands back into the body. Shift on to your right hip. Slide the legs out in front. Shift the body to the center of the mat and roll down onto your back. Allow your knees to stay bent as they windshield wiper right and left. And then snuggle the knees into the chest, wrapping the arms around the shin, taking that seed shape once more. Rocking a little side to side, massaging out the low back. And then just letting the knees fall gently over to the right, reaching your left hand back behind you. Maybe taking your gaze over your left shoulder, softening the belly. On an inhale, feeling yourself expand and grow. And on the exhale, releasing and coming back to center, to safety, to security. Feeling at home and at ease in our own body. Inhaling, knees back to center. Give them a big squeeze. Right hand reaches back behind you as knees fall over to the left. Chin looks to the right. We're just settling into the idea of letting go. Big inhale, one last squeeze. Point the toes, get the spine nice and long. And then release the legs out. And take your hands down on either side. Feet release, face release, belly release. And just start to feel all the points of you that connect to the mat here. All the points of you that connect to the earth here. And as you feel those points of connection, maybe even highlighting them in the color red. And on the inhale, drawing that red color up from the earth, bringing it to the front side body. And then on the exhale, letting it settle back into the earth. Inhale, red radiating up from all of those points of connection, illuminating the front side. And on the exhale, settling back into the earth. So that each inhale, we're taking in. And each exhale, we're letting go. We have the ability to call into us anything that we may need. We have the ability to make this body our home, to make this space feel safe and secure. And even on those days where we feel shook, where we feel as though we can't get 2 feet firmly on the earth, we have breath. We have this ability to rest into a shape, to come down physically to the earth and pull in that sensation of rootedness, that sensation of being safely surrounded by the earth. Knowing that it will catch us should we fall. Allowing our body to have a safe place to land whenever it needs. And stay here for as long as you like. Maybe turn the video off and just continue that breath in, breath out, illuminating the body in red, feeling the sensation of heaviness, of groundedness. Or if you're ready, just bringing the feet onto the mat, rolling to your favorite side, using your arm as a pillow, taking a breath in and a soft sigh out, pressing down with the hand and beginning to lift back into an easy seat. Hands will connect at heart center. It is my pleasure and privilege to be able to share sacred space with all of you. Namaste. Thank you so much for joining me, yogis. Look out for the next 6 in this series. If you enjoyed, please subscribe to my channel. Follow me on Instagram for yoga challenges and contact me anytime. I'd love to hear more about you. Have a good one. Thanks.